and then about Mule applications and flows. So let's have a quick recap on that. As you guys already did the example, now you got some kind of familiarity on this. So this is your Mule application. Every Mule application will contain one or more Mule configuration files. Every Mule application is a combination of one or more Mule configuration file. Each Mule configuration file contains one flow. This is that flow, and it may contain more than one flows as well. And each flow receives an event or receives an request and creates an event, and that event will be passed to the next event processors inside the flow. And Mule application accepts and processes a Mule event through a series of Mule event processors, as these are the these are the activities which are processing the Mule event. These are called Mule event processors. As it is a source for your Mule event, we are calling this as Mule event source. So try to habituate to the terminology. A mule event source that initiates the execution of the flow. So who is starting our flow? Our mule event source. So this is the mule event source. If you consider this is a, these are the bogies in a train. This is a newer, this is your engine. So this is the one which starts the execution of your flow. So what are the other event processors will do? They will do transform, filter, enrich. So forget about these terminologies if you don't know. And what they will do, they will process the events and whatever the message inside these events. This is about your basic about your Mule applications and flow. How your Mule flow will contain, Mule flow will have like this. It will have an event source, other event processors, and error handling. Remember, there is something we need to write for handling the errors. That's it as of now for error handling. So these are the few points related to that. If required, you can add one or more flows or subflows inside your code. And Mule configuration file and then XML. So every code that will write in the graphical mode in the message flow. And we have something called configuration XML. This is your configuration XML, where this is the actual code being automatically generated when you do drag and drop anything. And in between that, there is global elements. We'll talk about this global elements at later point of time. But time being, whatever the connector that you use here, the configuration related to that connector will get stored in the global elements. If you understand, fine. If you don't understand, we'll discuss in the next sessions. And Mule application building blocks. So before going to that, we have something about Studio. Yesterday I skipped it. It's a common Java integrated development environment. So it is based on Eclipse. It's a common Java integrated development environment. Eclipse is related to Java. On the top of Eclipse, they developed the Studio. It includes two-way editing between graphical and XML views. This is graphical view and this is XML view. Yesterday, if I explain, you might not get that. But today, there is a possibility that you can correlate these two things. And then we built building tool to connect with the, just imagine to connect with the HTTP kind of thing, HTTP and other things. As of now, you have a pre-built tooling available to connect with HTTP, and there are other things that you will know when you are doing the revisions. And a data transformation framework and language, you don't know this. And when you are running an application, where did you run your application? When you do right click and run your application, where you are running inside Studio only you are running, then it contains an embedded runtime to test your applications in the Studio. And today we are going to see this debugging, and this will also come at the middle of the sessions. The point is that when you are recapping after completing the sessions, or when the sessions are in progress, few points will you will understand that at that moment. Yesterday you don't understand anything, today you understand this, and you understand this, and after our session you will understand this, what is this debugging is. And then Mule application building blocks. So how are you going to build your Mule application? You said Mule application is a drag and drop based. So what I should do, where I should get the things to drag and drop. That is nothing but your building blocks of Mule applications are the components. What are those components? What happened? What are those components? These are all your components. So each and every components, these are grouped together, and they named a group as something called core. So all core functionalities available in the core, and all functionalities related to HTTP are available in the HTTP. And if you want to interact with file or database, you should get the respect to group, and add it to your project. So at the top you have something called add modules. So all this group is called an individual module. Core is a module, database is a module, HTTP is a module, sockets is a module. Now I want functionalities for interacting with my database, so I'll need to add a database module. How to add? So, and one more thing, when you have an modules, your modules will be displayed over here. Apart from core is a default module. Without core, we cannot do anything. So extra two modules are HTTP sockets. These will get added as a libraries to our application. Now I'm going to add a module called file module. I want to interact with the file. So here you can see, I will maximize this. I'm not getting this cursor properly. Yes, now I got it. So see here, when you click on the add module, when you are in core and when you move here, you will see all these things. When you click on the add module, until you are into this small box, you will see nothing. Once you move to this side, the featured modules available, then see it was showing a message, drag and drop here to add the project. It's suggesting us drag and drop here to add to the project. So drop the module to add to the project. So here it is loading the module, downloading, and then see here your module was added. Now you can interact with the files with these many components. So that is how you can add a module. Well, in future, in every session, we'll use this. We'll discuss about that. So what are the different components available for us to work? So this is the one of the link in the documentation. The name daily discussions. So this is the one of the link. Take this link. So these are the components. Just go and read. Try to just have a look or glance, quick look on that. So it will explain more in detail about this connectors, modules, and all. So if you want to know about more about modules, where do I have that link? See here, core components. If you want to know about the core components, go to this link and then it will explain about you the all core components. Right? If you know, just to go through it and try to at least identify the names, that will be enough. So by keep on progressing, you will get to know the things. And and the next thing is parallelly, I will execute my first example. So I need to readjust this guy. So how to run an example? Someone is on unmute. So how to run an example? Right click and run. You will run your first example. So meanwhile, until it deploys and runs, we'll complete the review section. So what these components will do, they will execute the business logic on the messages that flow through your Mule application. These are separated into categories: core components, modules, and connectors. We'll talk about modules and connector at later point of time. By default, every project will include HTTP and socket modules. You can add additional modules with the help of the screen. And then that's about your yesterday session. Does anyone has any questions on this topic before we further move to the next topic? Anyone has any questions? Does everyone able to execute your example? Yes, no,
No, we need to register an account in MuleSoft portal.
no,
No.
no. As of now, no.
Okay,
Who has that
directly you
question?
can download the software from MuleSoft portal.
Yes, it's not the portal, it's an URL. Did you try
URL.
it? Yesterday I have shared you the link. Did you try that?
No, I didn't receive any links.
I shared in
Kishore,
the
you can
chat.
share me here in that link.
I shared in the yesterday chat window and I asked you all of guys to copy this.
Yeah, Kishore, can share me that one same again. Again. Today
Yeah,
we'll try.
yeah. Please copy the links. This is for the downloading and this is for running your first example. So no one practiced your first example.
No.
No,
No, Kishore.
Kishore.
Didn't I tell you that you guys need to copy these URLs? No. Yes. I think even at the end of the session, I'll usually inform people to practice by seeing this.
Yes, Kishore, you said.
I said I remember. So no problem, not a problem. So now today, down copy all of the links. Whatever I will paste here, copy it. Generally, once the batch is settled, I will create a WhatsApp group for batch like this, and then I'll paste the links here so that you will have handy. And in Google Drive also, you will get your running notes will get saved, and there also you will find the links. So do practice today. Today we'll going to see about our debugging the first example. We'll see how now my first example is deployed, and then how should I access my first example. So hope all of you know how to construct the URL. Yesterday we discussed. Take the port. Please go on mute. Take the port, take the host, and take the host, and then port, and then your application URL, your resource URL, so that we will talk in detail what it will be called. And when we hit this, we are getting hi all, welcome to MuleSoft. Why I am getting this message, that we are going to see today how Mule is accepting the messages and sending the messages to the whoever invokes it. So that we are going to see it. Now I'm debugging my application. So we'll see what is debugging. So we'll see half of the part and tomorrow we'll start with this. So debugging a fast mule application. So contents debugging, connectors and modules, file connector configurations. These are all tomorrow session topics. Only you'll see this part of it today. So AnyPoint Studio Visual Debugger allows you to run application in the debug mode. So to debug your application, you should select the second option when you right click debug your project and the project name. So once you add a debugger, what will happen when an application is running in a debugger mode, we can pause the application execution and then we can see what are the values at at a particular point of time, what happened before executing this and after executing this. So those are the things that we will observe in the debug mode. To debug your application, you have to select the second option, debug your application. So meanwhile, it will start the application in the debug mode, and then we will see it. You can add breakpoints to processors and step through the application. In debug mode, application pauses its execution when debug point encounters, and watch the event properties and values, watch and evaluate data view expressions. There are so many other points were there that you are not aware as of now. By going further, you will get clarity on these points and more info how to run your application in the debugger mode that you can find over here. So how to run a project in the debug mode also, you will get get the things here. So whatever I'll paste, happily copy and keep in your notepad until our sessions are settled down a bit. So visual debugger and running a project in a debug mode. So my application has started in the debug mode. So it is deployed. So whenever you deploy your application into debug mode, you will get a pop-up, whatever I get. So that will automatically switch your perspective into the debug mode. So the perspective will change into the debug mode like this. So it will help you for debugging purpose. So that is called the perspective. Now if you want to come back to design, you can come back here. So let me send an application. So what we said, we are debugging our application. So we can see whatever what is happening at this moment at the time of execution. Now we'll try to see that. Now, my expectation is that my application will take a pause here, and then I will see what is happening with this set payload. Now, I am going to the same URL, copy it, open it in a different window, and then paste it. So, what is my expectation? What is my expectation? My expectation is my application will take a pause here, and it will show me what is happening here, right? But it's not showed me, it's directly written me a message. Does anyone tell me why it was happened?
You didn't put any breakpoint, right?
We didn't put any breakpoint. So we have to say where your application execution is to start pass, take a pass. You have not to think in your mind. You have to inform that to your studio, saying that, hey studio, please take a break here and then show me what is happening here. So what studio will do before executing this particular set payload, when it encounters set payload, it identifies, hey, there is a break applied here, we need to stop here. Now let's do the same testing again. Hi. And then see how it is asking when you run an application in the debug mode, when the debugger point is encountered, when it is executing, it will ask you to switch the perspective. Do you want to open the perspective now? Mule debugger perspective is designed to support Mule applications debugging. It incorporates views for displaying the current Mule messages and for breakpoint management. If you want to see the messages at this point, and if you want to enable and disable the breakpoint, the views are arranged nicely in the debugger perspective. Do you want to open this perspective? If you click on yes, it will by default move the perspective. Now see your views are arranged in a nice way that you can see something is going to happen. Some attributes you are seeing, some correlation you are seeing, some payload you are seeing, some words you are seeing. So let's click on this. Where is my mule properties? My mule properties are not showing. So if you want any specific view, you can select that view by going to window, show view, or and other MuleSoft mule properties. So this set payload was returned. Even if any view got closed, you can open like that window, show view, and go to. If you have the shortcut here, fine. If you don't find that, go to other and then choose MuleSoft or Mule properties. If you don't find that, it's very good to go back to design perspective and identify what was there in the set payload. What is there in the set payload? In the set payload, you are assigning some string. Hi all, welcome to MuleSoft. So when this is your execution environment, are you able to see hi all, welcome to Mule at any point of at any point here? No. So Mule is going to execute the set payload, and then let's see that again. What is a set payload is doing? Set payload has a message, "Hi, welcome to MuleSoft." Now use this button next processor to move to complete execution this and move to the next processor logger. So I'm doing this. What happened? Is there any change you guys observed here? Your payload value was previously empty. Now it changed to the hi, welcome to MuleSoft, and my console was empty. So now set payload is completed. So set payload, what it was did, it assigned some value to something called payload. We will see what is this payload in the next section, and then there is a logger was there. So what is the help of the logger? So what is the responsibility of the log event processor? It will log some message for you inside your console or inside your logs. So now I'm time being, let's go and see what was the response you received in the browser. You didn't receive any response because your application execution is not yet completed. Now I'm completing the execution by executing the last event processor inside my application. Now I'm executing this logger, and then what is the responsibility of the logger? It will print the message into the console. My execution was done, and a message is written back to the browser saying hi, welcome to MuleSoft. So what is happening? So where are you getting this hi, welcome to MuleSoft? So in the Mule process, whatever is there at the end of your application execution, whatever the value is there at the end of your application execution, that value will get returned to your browser, your whoever is calling your HTTP listener. So when you call a HTTP listener, whatever the value is there at the end of your process, what value particular to attributes, correlation ID, payload. It is about payload. Whatever the value available in the payload, that value will get returned to your browser. Time being, the value is hi all, welcome to MuleSoft. Is Logger is doing anything to modify my payload? No, right? So Logger's responsibility is to print some message in the console for developers to track the execution of your flow. Now I am leaving this. I am getting two requests. Somehow I got two requests. That's fine. So hi all, welcome to MuleSoft. So suppose what I will do, I will take one more set payload. How do I add set payload again to my flow? Where should I get set payload? Right? You should go to
Core.
core block, and then search for the set payload. So identify where is set payload and then get it. Right? I don't want my file module in this program, so you can remove the module as well. Just I'm showing a different point. So I'm not using file related things, so I'm removing this module so that my application libraries will get reduced. Now I want to add a set payload. So go to core and then check it. Oh, I don't know where is this part of. There is a search option, type payload, you will get it. Or there is something called favorites. Mule will identify what are the regularly used event processors. Then inside that you will have this set payload, drag drop. And again set some message. So I'm going to set only a string. I am not going for any calculations. So I'm keeping this. Hello all. I was modified message. I am a modified message. Welcome again. Now Now, the beauty is you modified it, right? And your application is running, right? So when your application is modified and running, when your application is running and when you modify your application, you no need to stop and start the application. You just save the application. Your studio will take care of what? Take care of, it will build the application, it will dispose the existing application, and it will make your application to redeploy within few seconds. You no need to wait for again stop and start it. Okay, that is the beauty of your studio. Yesterday when we are discussing about your studio, we discussed about we can write the source code, we can build, we can run, and we can do X. What is that X? Your debugging. And what is that Y? This kind of feature of auto redeployment of your modified applications, right? Like that, there are many other features. So whenever we are discussing a new feature, just replace this XYZ with that features. So now my application is deployed, and then I am again sending a request. I want to close this window separately, open a new window, just to show you that until my application execution completes, you didn't receive a response. If I do resend a request, still you can see the old response in the browser body. So now I am sending this. It's asking me to perspective switch. Yes, it switched the perspective. Now see, set payload value is null. Nothing was there. Now I am executing this set payload. So whenever you are executing, the first thing that will show here is what it is executing, what it is going to do. So set payload, it is going to set a value to hi all, welcome to MuleSoft, to where. So the name itself saying that set the payload. So this is the payload, right? So now first set payload execution got completed. It assigned me a value, hi all, welcome to MuleSoft. So already there is something is already available in the payload. Again I am setting the payload. So will this execute, or will this return a message saying that hey, already you assigned a something to the payload? Any guess? Any guess, those who doesn't know it? If you know it, then it's fine.
I think it will execute.
It will execute. Won't it throw an error saying that hey, it was already assigned the value? Any guess from others? Any
Uh,
chance
It
of
should.
returning an error?
just just to validation purpose, right? Mul this one, they are already that is already just
No, just I am trying to override it. My question is, will it
yeah.
override or not?
It will work.
It
It
would
will work.
override.
Okay, let's go and see. So if it overrides, I will get this value here, or else I will get an error message. So let's try to execute this. So my set payload is successfully executed, and it moved to the next event processor. So hello all, I am a modified message. Welcome again. So it means you can modify your message as many times as you want. But at the end of the process, whatever the value is available, that value is returned to your client, whoever calls my process. So why it is calling a payload? Anyone know why it is calling a payload? Do you know the rockets, right? NASA or our space center, ISRO people will send the rockets, right? Whatever the rocket will carry, what we'll call them satellite, right? So whatever the rocket carries, the inside part, the main part that carries is called payload. So same way here, whatever your HTTP request carries, what HTTP is doing, it is sending something high, and it is your MuleFlow is returning something back to your browser. So someone is carrying, something from your application to from your browser. That is why it is being called as a payload. Okay, so now we will see few things. I will try to see the other things, and just will have a note. I'm sending the request again, because the same message will display here. So we can't observe until until we open in a new tab. So still when it is processing, still you can see the message. Just I am sending the request. Stay, see, this is processing. Still my old response is showing here. And now I'll try to get the other value. So the first thing is whatever it is executing, that is what it will show you in the first thing. The current event processor that is going to execute, that will be showed here. And then second thing is called attributes. So keep an eye on this. What is this attributes? Just copy paste it and try to, if you know these things, then it's fine. Try to understand. If you don't know these things, just read it once and remove it, and just read it once and then just try to compare your request. Is there anything corresponding to my request? I am sending this kind of request. In the attributes, I observed, some message, some a big message. What is this message? So you can say, hi, is it part of your request? Right? And then 8081, part of your request. Host, localhost 8081, is it part of your request? And then scheme, do you have scheme? I think we have only version. So is it part of scheme? Yes, scheme is here. So is it part of your request? So it's something like that. Whatever you will read line by line and understand, is it part of my request or not? Right? Whatever you understand it. Whenever I will get the time to explain this, I will explain. So attributes. So this is part of your attributes. Try to note down here, and then the next one is what? Correlation ID, ignore it. Payload, already you know. So payload is this. And logger, before executing the logger, open it. So logger is printing some message, informative message, that is request receive. So now when you execute this, your logger will print this after completing the execution. And now you will get a message back to browser. Your spinning here is completed, and you get a message back to the browser saying that, hi, welcome again. This is a modified message, something like that you get. So this is nothing but debugging of your application. So why I have showed you without keeping a breakpoint here, after completing in 10 sessions, one guy called me in some time in the day, and I said that my debugger is not working, my application is not stopping. Just to make sure that, I mean, it might be a common practice for who are freshly coming into the programming world. Just to show that I have ran this without adding a breakpoint. See, something like when train will stop. Whenever you will get a red flag, then only your train will stop in the middle. Otherwise, it will stop at the destination, right? So that is how you should add a breakpoint to your flow. If you want your flow needs to be stopped in the debug, not stopped, paused in the debugging mode, you have to add the breakpoint. So please do practice these two examples before we start the next example. In the next examples, we'll talk about more about modules and connectors, and then we'll start working with the file module, and then how to use the file module in your project, and we'll perform we'll execute three applications, one, two, three. So, and then after that, we'll talk about the Mule event model, how Mule receives the data, how it would organizes internally, and once you modified your data, how Mule will return the message back to the system. So that we will deal. So today, in first example, we dealt with HTTP. In tomorrow, we'll deal with your file connector, and so on. Will complete the Mule event model. So till Mule event model completion, to complete this 1 2 3 examples, our sessions will go slow. After that, we'll bit speed up our session. By the time you will get some comfortability on the Anypoint Studio, creation of the projects and running the applications. So that's all for today. um, if you have any questions, you can stay back, and others can disconnect from the session.